But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Cons and cons. That time of the week. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? We put different teams into the cons and cons game here, and we decide those two things. Most confident, most concerned. Today, we've chosen to do the 3 Triangle ACC football teams. And as always, when we've chosen this category, Dennis, you get to pick the order.
Let's go podium finish from top to bottom. So Duke was top of the podium this week, so let's go Duke.
Duke, what are you most confident? What are you most concerned about? Well, when somebody says I have good news and bad news, which do you want first? You always take the bad news. We start with the concern. It's funny. This is kind of your strategy. This is a gut instinct pick.
Okay.
I'm concerned about their running game.
All right.
Which is a gut feel, gut check thing for me, because if you look at the numbers aren't bad. It's just when I watch, it never looks like it should work, right? Like Anderson Castle has a few breakout late long runs in games where, it's kind of back and forth that make their overall stats look better. And I'm just going like, I don't know. For most of the game when the score was close or when, the teams were playing the high leverage snaps, they didn't have that. And I know they got it late and you can't just take it away, but I just watch them and I every single time they hand it off, I'm going, that's a missed opportunity to let Darian Mensah throw, which isn't the way to have a balanced offense at all. It's just how I feel about their running game. So until I see a little bit more pop out of their running backs specifically, I'm concerned about their running game when it comes to maybe later in the season, maybe if it gets colder, maybe if there's a weather game or a team just decides to sit back in 2-shell and take away all the pass. I'm a little concerned about their run.
For me, my concern when it comes to Duke football right now, defensively, they give up too many big plays. That's been a big thing for these first few games, especially against Tulane. They gave up big plays. Illinois, big plays. Even against NC State, they gave up a lot of big plays. Now, I know they came up with a few against NC State. Obviously, the interceptions and everything were all crucial, but they give up a lot of big-time plays on defense.
Now the fun part for Duke. What are you most confident in for the Duke Blue Devils? I think the obvious is Darian Mensah. He's playing really well, but I'm going to zero in. I'm fascinated by what I'm calling his pro quality. He just carries himself like the CEO of the organization, and maybe it's because he's getting paid like the CEO of an organization. But it's a business trip for him most of the time when he's out there on the field. And I'm not saying he's not having fun. I'm not saying he's not enjoying his time with his teammates. I'm just saying that he doesn't seem to get too high, too low. He just keeps going out there and trying to execute, and a mistake doesn't rattle him as much, but a great play doesn't get him overinflated. It goes back to what we said at the ACC kickoff. He was my pick for a guy that just kind of commanded the room involuntarily. Just had a magnetic feel to him. So Darian Mensah's pro quality is what I am most confident in for Duke.
For me, for Duke, when it comes kind of along those same lines, for Darian Mensah, this is my confidence. It's his poise. That's really what kind of carries. It's a similar type thing. It's his poise in the pocket. He doesn't seem to get flustered when the team is behind. That's always going to help carry you in games for sure. There's a reason why they've been in just about every game.
I had this in my notes and I didn't tell it, and I think it's a good way to describe this. When we interviewed Darian Mensah at ACC kickoff, right, the scheduling is always kind of crazy at ACC kickoff. Players and coaches are coming and going in every direction. And the opening, we had to interview Manny Diaz and Darian Mensah, so the head coach of Duke and the quarterback of Duke was the same. So we said, we got extra headsets, sit them both down, right? Let's talk to them at the same time. Usually when that happens in an interview, you have the head coach and a player. It feels very deferring, like the player is just echoing whatever the coach says, right? It's very just, the coach is here. I'm going to say, like, everything I say is going to be a quote that the coach has said to the team already. But it didn't feel that way. It almost felt like peers when Darian Mensah was sitting there. Like, they each took ownership of the whole deal, and that's rare in college. I guess maybe not as much anymore. You could have like an 8th-year senior that's been on campus for a billion years, and that could be different. But Darian Mensah and Manny Diaz, I know they're not, right? There's a hierarchy. The head coach, is higher. But it felt a bit more like peers than coach-player, which happens in the NFL, right? Like Sean Payton and Drew Brees didn't feel like one of them was more powerful than the other, right? They both had their fingerprints all over that offense. I kind of had that vibe from Mensah. What team's up next, Dennis?
So we're going from top to bottom down the podium. We had NC State second on the podium this week. They had silver, so we'll go NC State next.
Concern, Dennis, you can lead off on this one.
Defense. I don't think they can get a stop when they need it. Yep. they can't get a stop when they need it. They needed a stop against Duke this past week. They couldn't seem to get it. I mean, I say that against better competition because, to be fair, against
their first
Virginia,
2 games, they had only pretty much the stops that they needed and nothing
true.
more.
I mean, I will say, okay, again, I'll provide a little context. They did get a 4th and 1 stop against East Carolina late. They did get the interception late against Virginia, but they're constantly in shootouts. Where's the time in a game where they get a couple stops in the second quarter that gives good field positioning for the offense? They can't consistently. I guess I'll rephrase this. They can't consistently get off the field. That's it. They can't consistently get off.
Mine is in the same family, but it's a little different. It's a cousin of yours. My concern for State is their pass defense. And it was a point we made on Pack Therapy, which, by the way, new episode for this week out. Pack Therapy podcast. I co-host it with Mike Glennon, NC State legendary quarterback. Pass defense, I think a lot of people use interchangeably with secondary. You think like the secondary is all responsible for stopping the pass. It's more than that. It's the pass rush. It's linebackers dropping into coverage to help. It's play calling. Their pass defense as a whole has left a lot to be desired. And I don't want to put that all on like, hey, this corner can't cover this receiver. Sometimes it's this corner can cover the receiver, but not for 7 seconds. Sometimes it's, hey, this corner can cover this receiver, but he's being asked to do it on the backside on an island when he might need a little help from the safety over the top. And then sometimes it's, yes, this corner can't cover that receiver on that play or got lazy for that play. So their pass defense as a whole, right, like Wake Forest, who's not a great passing offense, hit them for a couple big plays through the air. Can't let that happen. You can't fall asleep or get lulled to sleep because you're playing a run-first offense. You play a team like Duke, and they're able to come back because they're throwing the ball all over the field. There's the entirety of the pass defense needs to be better. I don't think you'll get crushed this weekend against Virginia Tech. I don't think you'll get crushed the next weekend against Campbell. But there are passing offenses that will light you up if your pass defense isn't on your P's and Q's. Confidence for State. Dennis, again, lead off.
Have you seen their offense?
I have. So you're really like you're broad. The concern defense, confidence offense.
Well,
This is like the Fouts era Chargers. This is Big 12 football.
I know.
This is Bengals. This is exactly what we're going for.
But I'll be more specific. It's that they have such a diverse skill set with their skill players that anybody can be the number one guy on a given night. We've seen Wesley Grimes put up big days. We've seen Noah Rogers put up big days. Justin Jolie, Terrell Anderson, Keenan Jackson. Hollywood Smothers has been consistent all season. Obviously, we know what C.J. Bailey can do. When it comes to their skill guys, they have such a diverse group of skill players that they can beat you in multiple ways on any given day. So if a defense wants to try and shut down one player or is built to beat one guy, someone else is going to cook them. It's as simple as that.
My confidence is C.J. Bailey.
All right, that's it.
No, here's what it is. I feel a bit. There's a meme that goes around for those of you that are like deep in the sports media world. Ryan Russillo, one of the OGs, hosts a podcast for The Ringer, where he almost always says, like, when somebody plays poorly, the meme of him is, I actually came away more impressed with blank fill in the blank person that didn't play well, and then he twists himself into a pretzel to come up with reasons why it's more impressive. C.J. Bailey had 4 turnovers against Duke. I actually came away more impressed with C.J. Bailey. Not really. But I've never met a quarterback that reached lofty heights without having to learn a few lessons the hard way. I think quarterback is one of those spots where the 4-turnover day does way more for your development than any 3-touchdown, no-turnover day ever will. You need to see the basement before you get to the penthouse to play quarterback, and there you go. That's his day, right? That's his day. The thing you hope for is that, your horrendous day where you learn all the lessons the hard way, like you're able to win like 17-13 or something, or it can happen on a non-primetime game or something, not against a rival. But you can't always choose when it pops up, and he faced his panic situation. He dealt with it the way he dealt with it. I think he'll be better moving forward, and that'll be one of those days where you look back and you go, yeah, that was rough, but because of that, he was better moving forward. And that leaves us with North Carolina on a bye week this week, but they're not on a bye from cons and cons. Dennis, what are you most concerned about for the Carolina Tar Heels?
Yes. That's kind of the let's be honest, if we're being for real about it. My biggest concern about Carolina right now is that we don't. You
can see him like limiting it one by one. It's like, all right, I got 13. All right, 12. Not that one. All right, we're eliminating it. And, okay, this is the last one.
Let me blind rank all these concerns here real fast. My biggest concern when it comes to Carolina is that we don't know what a Bill Belichick UNC football, what's their identity? There's no semblance of any sort of identity about what direction that program is actually going under Bill Belichick. No semblance at all.
My coach used to say, well, what do you major in?
Yeah.
He would tell us, like, we want our offense to major in read, keep, run game, and play action off of it. That's what we want to major in. And I don't know what Bill Belichick's teams want to major in.
No idea.
On defense, maybe it's becoming more clear they want to be multiple and they want to try to confuse you. And their defense has tried that. Worked against lesser opponents. Hasn't worked nearly as well against the quality opponents. But I have no idea what the offense wants to major in. I guess it would be like intermediate throws outside the hash to the left. And that might be a little too specific of a major.
That's very niche.
I want to major in the Mesozoic era dinosaurs or herbivores. It's like, all right.
It's like Renaissance era art.
Yeah, Renaissance era art, red color, paint. My concern for UNC, and this is going to come across as if I'm joking, but I am not. The forward pass. I am concerned about their ability to be effective throwing the ball forward. They're dead last in the ACC in pass yards per game. They are dead last in the ACC in pass yards per attempt. It doesn't get much better the more you look at it. There's not like those redeeming qualities, but actually on third down, they're pretty good. Like there's not many oases in a desert of they're not throwing the ball well. And maybe Max Johnson gets a chance to go in there and make it work. He's gotten, in 2 games, in 2 of the 3 games they've played, he's gotten at least a decent amount of run. 2 of the 4 games they played, because they've been either injuries or blowouts. But they're not good enough to be one-dimensional. Right, if you're going to be like a Wisconsin 2004 offense and you're just going to run the ball and you don't have to throw it, you better be able to run the ball like you have, Melvin Gordon or Wisconsin always had a guy that was getting like 400 carries. Yeah, Ron Dane. There we go.
There's a name for you.
I'm blanking on another one. Monty Ball.
Ball. Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Jeez, you better be able to run the ball like you have them, and they don't. So you better be able to be balanced, and they're not. That's what I'm getting at. Confidence. What are you confident in for the Tar Heels?
They have a bye week to settle things down and try and figure it out. Like you get an extra week to kind of sit down and regroup and refocus and figure out, all right, what the hell are we?
My confidence is very similar. The spotlight should fade.
Fair.
Right now, and actually I don't even say right now, the early part of this season, lights were too bright for that team. Starting TCU, Monday Night Football, no other game on. Every fan, casual fan, and person who happened to be in the room with a casual football fan, everybody was watching Carolina TCU. They were not ready for it. They weren't. And then everybody was looking for the first win. And then everybody was looking for the first home win. And then everybody was looking for, oh, you're on the cover of Us Weekly. And everybody was talking to every former Patriot about, oh, why is this happening? And everybody was... Bye week, that team needs desperately to go work in the shadows. To go back to the drawing board. The novelty, I think, of Bill Belichick is wearing off a bit. There's no more like, I wonder if they're going to be unbelievably good. I wonder if he's going to coach circles around everybody in college. There's none of that anymore. There's none of that curiosity. They need to go work really, really hard away from the spotlight. And I'll put like, it's similar for the Arch Mannings, right? Where it's like, okay, spotlight got really bright there, didn't it? Kind of got in your eyes. You got a little confused. Go work really, really hard in the shadows where if you play great, people maybe don't give you all the praise in the world. But guess what? If you make a mistake, they might not notice that either. And that's a good spot for you to play around and figure out what you are. So it's almost like my confidence is everybody's going to get bored with you a little bit. And a bye week, right, out of sight, out of mind, might help you a little bit.